It's the Rob Carson Show. Are you ready to be podsmacked? Now, here's Rob Carson.
Here is Rob Carson, and welcome to another edition of the Rob Carson Show podcast, episode number 206. If you are downloading the audio from iTunes, iHeartRadio, a host of other media, I'm on Audio Boom, SoundCloud, and tons of others. So if you want to download it that way, it's great. Also on Liberty One TV. Hello, Liberty One TV viewers. I'm glad to have you here this evening. My show is every night on Liberty One TV. It's 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, 6 o'clock Central. And it's an honor and a privilege to be here. We've got a lot of stuff I want to get to. Want to remind you that if you have not become a member of Liberty One TV, please do so. It's only 33 cents a day. It is only $10 a month and $99 a year. Holiday season's coming up. You could give it as a gift, okay? A lot of great talent on this site, but Rusty Humphries, a friend of mine and a nationally syndicated political pundit, he is now one of us, all right? You're going to get a lot of bang for your buck. Also, discounts at the online store. LibertyOneTV.com has an online store with cool swag and apparel. And then just the content you're going to get every day right here. Also, check out my swag line right here on the screen. You see it. It's tpublic.com/user/conservatees. 65 designs up there. Politically incorrect, humorous. They're going to be added to the Liberty One store here in the next few days. So you could just go to Liberty One. It'll be your one-stop shop, okay? Anyway, welcome to the show. Oh, and Dots Homestyle Pretzels, unofficial sponsor. The best pretzels you've ever had in your life. I'm not kidding. The best you've had in your life. You're thinking, yeah, how do you reinvent the pretzel, right? It'd be like opening an ice company in 2017. Well, what's different about your ice? Well, it's frozen water. Well, it's kind of like that with pretzels, but these guys have reinvented pretzels, and they're amazing. You can't stop eating them. They're just that good. I'm angry today. I'm angry, and it's not because I'm an angry white guy. Generally, I'm a pretty jovial guy. I'm thoroughly disgusted with Washington, D.C. Thoroughly disgusted with Washington, D.C. CNN has a report. Lawmakers on Capitol Hill are so predatory that female staffers are advised not to ride in elevators alone with them. Females are also admonished to be careful of male lawmakers who sleep in their offices. It's another unwritten rule that women on Capitol Hill live by. The outlet spoke to more than 50 lawmakers, current and former staffers, and other political veterans who revealed a culture so rife with sexual harassment that there is an informal creep list of lawmakers to avoid. CNN story noted on Capitol Hill, it's not clear that a day of reckoning is soon coming to one of the country's most important institutions. Multiple women told CNN. Elevators on Capitol Hill are a place where staff members prey on women. One former staff member, a senator, who's still in office, stroking the inside of her palm in a suggestive way when she introduced him by her male boss, another senator. The creep list of male lawmakers, mostly in the House of Rep, but also in the Senate, are notorious for inappropriate or predatory behavior, according to the story. Female Congresswoman said the half are harassers of her male counterparts, before quickly adding only some are harassers, she said. Some told CNN that there are women who will reciprocate the sexual advances in order to advance their careers. These are supposed to be adults. These are supposed to be adults. These are the people who spend their whole damn lives telling us how to spend and how to live ours. There's a little bit of sex. There's a little bit of a sex trade on Capitol Hill. If a part of getting ahead on Capitol Hill is playing ball with whatever douchebag, then whatever. One female politician veteran who worked on Capitol Hill told CNN. Another female congresswoman told CNN that she'd been sexually harassed by her male colleagues numerous times, but saw little upside to speaking out. I need these guys' votes, she said. In this body, you may be an enemy one day and a close ally the next when accomplishing something. So women will be very cautious about saying anything negative about one of their colleagues. Jackie Spears, a representative, California, a representative or spokeswoman for her, said 80% of people who have come to their office with stories of sexual misconduct in the last few weeks have chosen not to report the incidents. I am sick about this. These are supposed to be our leaders. Here is Jackie Spear testifying yesterday.
In fact, there are two members of Congress, Republican and Democrat, right now, who have been subject to review or not have been subject to review, but have engaged in sexual harassment. These harasser propositions such as, are you going to be a good girl? To perpetrators exposing their genitals, to victims having their private parts grabbed on the House floor.
I want them out. I want these bastards named, and I want them out. One member of Congress, according to Jackie Spear, said there's been a taxpayer settlement. When she was asked by Chuck Todd, she said, well, I think you have the right to know, but right now under the system, you don't have the right to know. We do know there is about $15 million that's been paid out by the House on behalf of harassers in the last 10 or 15 years. Representative Linda Sanchez, Democrat from California, House member, said earlier this month a colleague had ogled her and touched her inappropriately on the House floor when she first began serving in Congress. Sanchez declined to name the lawmaker when asked about the incident on Tuesday. She never filed an official complaint, but learned to avoid being near him. Since then, Sanchez told reporters she advised new members to do the same. When you are new to a workplace, you don't always understand what the policies and procedures are or the avenues for reporting these kind of indecencies, or incidences, I should say, but they are indecencies. Under the current system, run through the Office of Compliance, staffers must go through months of mediation and counseling with an employee office before they can file a formal complaint. They must also sign non-disclosure agreements. If staffers do go forward with the complaint, they can either file it in court or seek an administrative hearing that leads to negotiations for a settlement. So you don't know if your representative, you don't know if your senator is doing this. You don't know. You and I should have the right to know. We should have the right to know and then drum them the hell out of office. I told you this last week when, actually 2 weeks ago, Chuck Grassley said that they wanted to introduce sexual harassment training to the Capitol, okay, to the Senate and the House. Then Chuck, what the hell's his name? Chuck Schumer. He did the same thing. And I said, because this was the cascade, these were the dominoes falling from Hollywood across state houses to Washington, D.C. And I said the reason they're doing this is not a reaction to Hollywood. It's a reaction to knowing they're going to get caught, and this is coming out. That's why they're doing it. They're gonna do a little CYA starting 2 weeks ago because every damned person in the House, in the Senate, knows this is happening and knows who's doing it. And we need to know. Paul Ryan said Tuesday the House will require anti-harassment and anti-discrimination training for all members and their staffs. The announcement came just after a hearing in which two female lawmakers spoke about sexual misconduct involving sitting members of Congress. Our goal is not only to raise awareness, but also make abundantly clear that harassment in any form has no place in this institution, Ryan said. As we work with the administration, ethics, and rules committees to implement mandatory training, we will continue our review to make sure the right policies and resources are in place to prevent and report harassment. The policy change will happen through legislation. Representative Barbara Comstock said she was recently told about a staffer who quit her job after a lawmaker asked her to bring work material to his house, then exposed himself. Comstock said there could be clear-cut rules about the kinds of relationships and behaviors that are off-limits and create a hostile work environment. Well, if you don't know what's right and wrong, you don't deserve to be a leader. Comstock said the name of the lawmaker she mentioned wasn't disclosed to her, but she emphasized that naming names is an important step in promoting accountability and encouraging victims to come forward. This legislator Spear, she said, since coming forward with her story, she's been inundated with phone calls from staffers eager to share their own accounts of harassment and abuse. A petition calling for Congress to make mandatory training mandatory has gained more than 1,500 signatures from former Hill staffers. Rodney Davis of Illinois said that addressing the issue of sexual harassment on the Hill is long overdue and that Congress must lead by example. You know, now we don't believe you. Now we don't think you can lead by example. And you are not an example. You're a bad example. You are leading by bad example. This has been covered up for more than a decade. People have been paid off and hushed up. Rodney Davis also said that some offices may just take a shortcut and not hire women as a way to avoid the issues. That's really smart. That's real smart. Just don't hire women because you can't keep your dick in your pants. Senator Amy Klobuchar, Democrat from Minnesota, says, you wonder why there's only 21 women in the Senate, or why there's hardly any women running Hollywood studios or major businesses. Well, when you have to work in environments where people feel like they can't get ahead without having to put out, that's what happens. Shame on them. Shame on them. I'm thoroughly disgusted. I'm angry and I'm disgusted that they would allow this to happen as long as it has. These are supposed to be our leaders. These are the people who move to Washington, D.C. and get book deals, get unbelievably rich, supposedly being a public servant. I don't even know what to say, man. Don't even know what to say. Let's move on to Hillary Clinton. Attorney General Jeff Sessions said Monday prosecutors were looking into whether a special counsel should be appointed to investigate Republican concerns about the Clinton Foundation dealings and the Obama-era uranium deal with Uranium One. Led to the House Judiciary Committee, which is holding an oversight hearing Tuesday, I guess yesterday, the Justice Department and Sessions had directed senior federal prosecutors to evaluate certain issues raised by Republican lawmakers. Democrats, of course, are saying that it's the president abusing power. Not the case. Greg Jarrett, Fox News, had a nice column. Hillary Clinton must face the consequences of her actions and the scrutiny of a special counsel. No person in this country is so high that he or she is above the law. This includes Hillary Clinton. It follows then that Clinton is no higher or lower than any American. Well, no, she is. And whether you want to choose to admit it or not, there is a different standard for people in Washington, D.C. That does not apply to you and me. It just doesn't. Hillary Clinton will never go to jail. Hillary Clinton will never go to jail. She may have done all sorts of things with using her position as Secretary of State. And by the way, following scandal after scandal after scandal after scandal, starting in Little Rock, Arkansas. Yep, this essential doctrine seemed to be entirely lost on Democrats during Tuesday's hearing by the House Judiciary Committee, in which Attorney General Sessions testified. Representative John Conyers of Michigan, who can barely speak, said, in a functioning democracy, is it common for the leader of the country to order the criminal justice system to retaliate against political opponents? Sessions responded that the Department of Justice can never be used to retaliate politically against opponents. That would be wrong. However, it kind of looks like that happened under the Obama administration. Barack Obama's Organizing for America, the Democrat Party, and Hillary Clinton invested $12 million in a dossier. And it was just enough to convince a FISA court to wiretap the Trump campaign, the Trump transition team. That's abuse of power, kids. That's retaliating against opponents. The Justice Department is duty-bound to investigate acts that appear to have violated criminal statutes. If there is sufficient evidence to support an indictment of charges, our system of justice demands they be brought. Sessions has been lethargic in determining whether the criminal prosecution of Hillary Clinton is warranted. July 27th, Republicans in the House Judiciary Committee sent a letter to the Attorney General demanding that he appoint a special counsel to investigate alleged wrongdoing by Clinton in the controversial sale of Uranium One to Russia. Sessions didn't respond. Second letter was ignored. Finally, on the eve of his testimony, Sessions advised the committee that he had indeed directed senior federal prosecutors to evaluate whether a special counsel is needed. There is compelling evidence that Clinton may have used her office as Secretary of State to confer a benefit to the Russian government in exchange for money. $145 million. $145 million into her, the Clintons' global initiative, which, by the way, immediately collapsed after the election because she had no more influence to sell. $500,000 speech by Bill Clinton in Moscow right after the deal was signed. Back to this column. If pay-to-play scheme helped secure the sale of 20% of America's uranium assets to Russia while enriching Hillary Clinton and former President Bill Clinton and their foundation, it would constitute various crimes, including bribery, mail fraud, wire fraud, and arguably racketeering. The committee has requested that a special counsel also reopen the Clinton email case to ascertain whether actions taken by then-attorney Loretta Lynch and then-director of the FBI James Comey may have obstructed justice in order to exonerate the Clintons. And they did. They're thick as thieves, folks. And if you think it ends at Congress, you're wrong. It is a complete myth perpetuated by the media and reiterated by Conyers during Tuesday's hearing that the president may not be engaged in criminal cases of the Department of Justice. However, there is not a single law prohibiting him from directing the department to pursue any matter that merits criminal prosecution. Under Article 2 of the Constitution, the president is specifically empowered to enforce all laws, something often accomplished by instructing the Justice Department to take action. Okay? Thomas Jefferson ordered his Attorney General to prosecute Aaron Burr for treason. John F. Kennedy ordered his Justice Department to intervene in multiple civil rights cases. President may not abuse his office to pursue political vendettas under the guise of criminal prosecutions, but there is sufficient evidence of illegality. He has every right to demand that the law be enforced. And why would he have a vendetta against Hillary Clinton? He beat her. Nobody's above the law. But they are. I was reading a piece by Piers Morgan in the UK Daily Mail, and we've got Democrats who are calling their articles of impeachment have been introduced today by 5 Democrats for no reason. There's no reason. He's committed no crime. They can't stand that Hillary Clinton lost and Donald Trump won. They don't think he's presidential. Doesn't matter. Less than 1 year into his tenure in office, he was never given a honeymoon period. He's always been treated like absolute crap by the media, by people in Washington, D.C., and now you've got articles of impeachment, not even just a year after he was elected. It's another reason I'm thoroughly disgusted with Washington, D.C. We've never seen anything like this before. Piers Morgan, in this piece, Trump's Asia tour was a triumph for him and a failure for the U.S. media because his host did what our press refuses to do. They treated him with respect. By any yardstick, Trump's 12-day tour to Japan, South Korea, China, Vietnam, and the Philippines has been a resounding triumph. The main purpose of such a trip for any U.S. president is to shore up relations with the countries you are visiting and their leaders, and to represent America in a good, positive way. Trump did all that. He did it with ease, confidence, respect, and good humor that often seems sorely lacking back home when he's strutting around the White House in what seems like the perpetual rage. He may be one of the most divisive presidents in history, but in terms of celebrity status, already very big before he even ran for office, Trump's also a political superstar of almost unprecedented proportions. Hence the amazing scenes of excitement that have greeted him throughout the tour. It's been notable to see how much his numerous hosts have lavished him with extravagant praise and parades, just as we saw in previous places, visits to Saudi Arabia and France. They've worked out how to make Trump happy, treat him like the most powerful man in the world. For a guy so reviled and scorned in his own country, this high level of ostentatious respect must come as a blessed relief from the relentless hour-by-hour attrition he wages at home with anyone and everyone, from the media to grieving war widows. On his stop in Japan, Prime Minister Abe played golf with Trump, and a top Japanese professional star gave him a customized hat saying Donald and Shinzo make alliance even greater. Treated him to a steak dinner. Remember Trump's infamous claim during a trip to Japan in 1990? He said he didn't want any effing raw fish. Not to be outdone by Abe, he treated Trump to grilled Korean beef rib cooked with 360-year-old soy sauce in South Korea, by the way, with President Moon Jae-in. He is visited to China. He was given 20 rousing ovations in South Korea. Then he went to China. The Chinese President Xi, unleashing the full army of Chinese seven-star hospitality and pageantry for the man who had spent his entire presidential campaign abusing and deriding China. It included dinner inside the Forbidden City where no foreign leader since 1949 has been invited to dine. State-run broadcaster CCTV said that after he left, that Trump has given China what China wants, which is that respect on a global stage as the other preeminent nation. That's a highly significant vote of confidence in the world's new, most important relationship. Throughout his entire tour, Trump avoided publicly criticizing any of his hosts. This all paid off. The press coverage from his trip, both in the countries concerned and in the U.S., is the best Trump's enjoyed since becoming president. The American press tried to go after Donald Trump by claiming he chucked a whole bowl of food into his the koi fish pond in Japan of the prime minister. Turns out the prime minister had done the same thing seconds before. He's landed hundreds of billions of dollars worth of new trade deals, had important discussions over security issues like North Korea and ISIS, and got a chance to show off his world-class schmoozing skills. Then you come back here. And you see Maxine Waters calling for his impeachment in front of the Glamour Magazine Woman of the Year Award. Lifetime Achievement Award, I guess. Now Attorney General Jeff Sessions is going to go after Hillary Clinton and investigate Uranium One. This is how the media treats the president exercising his authority. This is Joe Scarborough yesterday talking about this.
Mike, we're going to have, first of all,
Michael Schmidt has
we're
the
going to
copy of
get how horrific this is, what a horrific precedent this would set if Donald Trump goes after his political opponent this way, uses the Justice Department, pressures the Justice Department, pressures the Attorney General to do this. This is what happens. This is what Joseph Stalin would do. This is
unbelievable.
So
not only is Donald Trump Hitler, not only is he a Nazi and a white supremacist, now he's Stalin.
Tyrants have done for years is sick their people on political opponents. But just the
what about sicking the IRS on 501c3s that are conservative? How about that?
Underlying charge, the claim here that the Clintons benefited from this deal going through. It's an absence of malice moment where, Paul Newman leans back in his chair and says, "Prove it."
I got to tell you, how in the hell did he get the job on MSNBC? He's regarded, I guess, as intelligent, but when he says things like that, he sounds like a complete and utter moron. Unbelievable. Oh, Joe Biden. Yeah, speaking of utter morons, why is Joe Biden on everything? He was on Stephen Colbert's show the other night. He was on, yesterday he was on a&nbsp. I think it was NBC. And he was asked about the church shooter being stopped by a guy with a gun. And here's what he had to say, which makes no sense.
Hello. So with the tragedy that just happened in Texas, my question is, how do you justify the Democratic view on gun control when the shooter was stopped by a man who was legally licensed to carry a gun?
Well, first of all, the kind of gun being carried, he shouldn't be carrying.
Yeah, he should be carrying it because it's legal, fool.
Weapons are... I wrote the last serious gun control law that was written. It was law for 10 years, and it outlawed assault weapons and it outlawed weapons with magazines that had a whole lot of bullets, and so you can kill a whole lot of people a lot more quickly. Number one. Number two, it's just rational to say certain people shouldn't have guns. Now, the fact that some people with guns are legally able to acquire a gun and they turn out to be crazy after the fact, that's life. There's nothing you can do about that. But we can save a lot of lives, and we've stopped tens of thousands of people from getting guns who shouldn't have guns.
Show me a statistic. show me a statistic where crime went down in given cities when guns were restricted. Show me the statistics. I want to see it. I want to see what happened in Chicago. Chicago is murder central. So is Washington, D.C. Now you can they've eased up a little bit on concealed carry in Washington, D.C. and owning firearms. Crime has gone down. 2 of the 4 college basketball teams that participated in the Champions Classic in Chicago on Tuesday night participated in a national anthem demonstration. Duke wore T-shirts with equality written across the front, whereas the players of Michigan State wore ones with the words, "We listen." Kentucky and Kansas chose not to. The NBA has rules that require its players to stand during the national anthem, but teams locked arms and wore T-shirts similar to that of the college teams that played Chicago Tuesday night. I'm so done with this crap. Britt McHenry used to work for ESPN and came out as a conservative. She said of Colin Kaepernick being named Citizen of the Year by GQ. She said J.J. Watt raised $37 million for Hurricane Harvey victims, $37 million, but Kaepernick refused to stand for our national anthem. And he's a Citizen of the Year. Wears socks depicting police officers' pigs, wears Fidel Castro as a fashion in Miami. Sues the NFL for collusion. When, he compares owners to slave owners. Serve in the military, nothing. What a joke. GQ. Hashtag Kaepernick. Good for her. I'm glad. Speaking of anthem protests, the one NFL broadcast partner has shown consistent, albeit slow growth this year, has been Monday Night Football. However, after the Week 10 edition of Miami, Carolina, that's not happening anymore. It was way down. 6.2 rating, 18% down from the last week's edition of Monday Night Football. Maybe it's sinking in. I don't know. Maybe it's sinking in. Man claimed that masturbating cleared his sinuses, and the doctors say he's right. Skyler, a husband from Arizona, said that when he couldn't fall asleep due to a stubby nose, he decided to take matters into his own hands. Explained that during an orgasm, the muscles contract around the body, including inside the nose. I never noticed. Which can temporarily relieve sinus pressure for both men and women. Researchers have shown that orgasms can also help with the immune system, insomnia, stress, pain, and overall help people live longer. Hear, hear. Finally, 77% of Democrats with 4-year degrees think sex is not determined at birth. 3 out of 4 college-educated Democrats seem to believe that a man can be a woman if he just says so, regardless of his biology, genetics, and genitalia, according to a survey by Pew. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Well, that's going to do it for our video podcast today. I hope you have enjoyed it thoroughly. I have enjoyed being here thoroughly. If you would like to download this audio, just go to iTunes or iHeartRadio or any one of your favorite audio services. Then, of course, you can see it right here. And if you are not a member of Liberty One TV, will you do it? Again, it's only 33 cents a day, okay? $10 a month, $99 a year. And check out the swag line for Christmas. I think you're really going to enjoy it. You can order T-shirts. You can order just about anything. It'd be great to have at Thanksgiving. Especially, we have one that says veganism is an eating disorder. There's that. And then you're also helping out me. You're helping out my designer, Sam Cangelosi, and you're getting a really, really cool gift. All right? Guys, I want to thank you very much for joining me. Have a glorious day. God bless you, and I'll see you again soon.
Thanks for listening to The Rob Carson Show. Friend him on Facebook at Carson Show, on Twitter at Rob Carson, and on Instagram, I think Facebook and Twitter are enough for now. We'll see you soon.